Welcome to the Southwest Montgomery County Chamber Business Brief. This episode is sponsored by Ace Handyman Services. No job too big, no job too small. They do the honeydews your honey won't do. I like that one. This week we're really excited. The Business Brief, we always have people from the community, family, residents, and people in government here. And we're excited to have our guest today.
And I'm Clint Strom with Genuine Insurance Solutions. Today we're joined by our new mayor, Chris Blair. Mr. Mayor, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
We want today's conversation to be easy way to communicate for you to the community. I know you talked about that during your campaign, that you wanted different ways to be able to get in and talk to the different people. We're going to talk about different things that's happening in Magnolia. Obviously, Magnolia is growing very fast. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the infrastructure. We're going to talk about Unity Park, some exciting events coming up here in the next couple months, but really just a great friendly conversation to kind of get to know you a little bit better.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Mayor, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and the listeners?
Grew up here pretty much all my life, and we rode four-wheelers, rode horses, did rodeos, graduated in 97 as a bulldog, not a Mustang, and got three beautiful young sons. Two of them have graduated from West, and my youngest is set to graduate from here. And most of my family is all still in the area, and started my business here in 16. After many years of being out of the city, but that was a dream of mine to get it in the city amongst my peers and everything. And after that, just kind of fell into keeping up with small town politics.
And your business is?
MDP Motorsports.
What stands for?
Magnolia Diesel Performance.
That's what I called it the other day. You corrected me.
Yeah.
I've got the MDP Motorsports, and that's awesome. That's just right over there by the meeting place.
Correct. Right before.
Yeah, driving your head down on 1774.
Yes, sir.
And what do y'all do there?
We do a lot of general maintenance on diesel pickup trucks. It's not really what we like to specialize in, but we do pretty extravagant builds with diesel conversions. We have 60s models, 84 model Jeep Scrambler. We just put a 4BT Cummins in, Turbo 400. Got a couple of international scouts in the 60s that we've done 12-valve conversions in. We've had a couple of Ford pickups doing some Cummins work in there, and a lot of race trucks and performance, accessories. But we also tend to do lift kits, wheels and tires, and Jeep and Bronco accessories as well. So
I got a Jeep, so you could lift my Jeep, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Well, so going back to the new mayor's position, it's been a few weeks you've been on the job. What made you put your name in a hat to do that?
I think with my personal issue back in 2017 with the city, we kind of drug out a little over a year and a half maybe. And at that time of going through that, I started attending the city hall meetings and stuff and seeing what was really going on, how things were not really benefiting the city, but as the development's coming, and just sitting back for the time and waiting for somebody to come in to make a change, to really care about the city again, and I wasn't seeing it, so I decided to try to get in here and make a difference. Hopefully a positive impact for the new people as well as our old citizens like myself.
Have you seen anything yet that has surprised you? And what have you found from your days as a business owner that's helping you with our city? Because I think there are a lot of us that would like to see more of a business approach taken from that office.
It's definitely a business approach. The only thing that's got me handcuffed right now is the speed. There's so many things that we can identify that we want to move forward with, correcting personnel that needs to be hired and whatnot, but it's all a process, so that process is very slow. So now I can see why me being a citizen out there was kind of frustrated we don't see something overnight. It just has a lot of steps and process before we can move forward.
So, Magnolia's always been known as have a small town feel. Our chamber really sells that as the reason that we're different than other chambers, is to have that small town feel of Magnolia. Is that something that you're really trying to protect?
For sure. Even with the newer people, I believe that they come in and they feel that from us. And I want to keep having people embrace that, whether they're new to our city or the older people, and the older citizens not give up on that. Even though we have the development, new moving pieces that are surrounding us, I think we can still be a community where everybody embraces each other and get together and have that small charm still.
And I think just sitting here in the chamber office, I can tell you that a lot of people come in here to find where they want to do business and who they want to do business with that are moving here.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk to them, the reason they moved here is because of that.
Right.
So, they're not coming in here trying to change Magnolia. I think they're coming in here because they know what Magnolia is and they're embracing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to have we're going to have some success with the people that want to keep it that way.
Right.
Our Christmas parades, those kind of things that you just can't find in any larger city and stuff.
Right.
Those things, we want to keep those things intact so that people can always feel like they're in a small town.
I know that you're fairly new to this role, but as you've gotten out in our community, what are some of the things that you're being told by some of the citizens that they're happy with? Or is there anything they're going, hey, is there any way we can do something about this or that?
I haven't heard much of nothing of happiness yet. We're working in that department, hopefully.
Hey, you're doing a great job. There's some positives.
Yeah. So just making my rounds, looking over all of our roads and ditches and stuff of that nature, and trying to get a relationship with a couple of contacts with TxDOT, on 1488, which is out of the city's hands, but at least we can try to keep updating the citizens. And I think there might have been a lack of that, previously with, there was always that uproar. When's this going to be done? So I'm trying to get it to where we can at least continue to communicate, knowing that it's going to be a long process. Hopefully people get patience. But I think that was what we're missing, was communication amongst everybody of certain areas that we have to work on, and it's going to be a time-consuming deal.
I think communication is important, especially with 1488.
Mm-hmm.
Too many people do not understand whose role it is, and we've got one too many of individuals that you would consider fairly knowledgeable, pointing back to the mayor, pointing to Charlie Riley and saying, no, it's not them, it's
Right.
TxDOT.
Right.
Just if they know who to call,
Right.
they can at least feel better. I mean, we all want the mess gone that's been raised out here, but we've got to keep up with expansion too.
Correct.
People aren't going to not come. They're going to come out here to our
Absolutely.
community. They love it. And I would venture to say from an outsider, I look at it as a sign of, I don't know how we would have been on top of it, because I think it was somewhat a surprise when it started happening. When I grew up out here, Magnolia's a 4A school.
Mm-hmm.
These roads, there wasn't hardly anybody on them.
Right.
This seems so far away from Houston. If anybody tells me they saw this happening, then they're Elon Musk smart.
Yeah.
Because I would have seen it getting bigger.
Well, I mean, our biggest traffic time was Renaissance, because everything was 2 lanes in, 2 lanes coming and going, right?
Yep.
But I believe, just from my views of things, of watching how it's been working the past 9 years, now that I've gotten into the role and looking back through certain deals, I'm not saying they're bad or anything, but I think that we did have people in place that could have seen a little bit more into our infrastructure for the future, with knowing that what was coming slowly but surely. I think it just got here quicker than they anticipated overall, and that's why our infrastructure is really behind.
Yeah.
I know during your campaign, what impressed me was your answers to some of the questions about communication. I recognize that you changed your Facebook page to Mayor Chris Blair, and I see people asking you questions. And you're responding. Just
Yes, sir.
recently, the splash pad was
Right.
down, and within 2 days,
We got back up and going.
Right? I
Yes,
know
sir.
that there's other projects that you could probably be focused on, but is communication like that going to really help you address and see what's happening out there in the community instead of somebody just going on another site? I mean, what would you prefer the communication lines to be?
Well, I think foremost, if they want to get the information as quick, because as soon as it hits my desk or anything like that, I try to put it on my personal or the mayor page on Facebook, and then I have my city secretary get to the website, and then we try to get it to the city's website or Facebook updated as well. So you have those avenues. Chief does a really good job at the PD to take our knowledge that we have and post it as well. So there's several different avenues, but I think if you get too many, you may not get that focus there. So I would say stick with the city website, the city Facebook page, or my mayor page. Those are probably the top three when it's city oriented that we can keep you updated the best.
Some of the bigger topics, I guess, are infrastructure, and you touched on that a little bit: roads, utility, water, drainage. All those things matter to the residents and to the businesses in the community. Can you give us a general update, just kind of where that's kind of going in the next couple of years? Or even sooner?
Sooner, we have 9 roads that we're pushing through to get fixed up, which are going to be some overlays. Some will be widening some shoulders through town and stuff. But we still have like 40 other roads. But we have 9 now that will be going up next council meeting on the 9th to move forward with. And if we get that passed through council, July, they'll be starting. I know people don't want to see more road crews and stuff going out there with TxDOT on 1488. However, these roads have been neglected for very many years, and we need to get on it now, especially with the amount of traffic that's going to be coming through town. The other thing is we have a waste plant that we purchased, and we're trying to get that up in line for some extra capacity there. And then smaller things that are really big to the community is trying to take care of, Unity Park, some of the maintenance issues over there that have been brought to our attention. Splash pad was one of them. And then just trying to study our drainage around here with all the development.
Yeah.
And get our ditches cleaned. And the issue we're having with getting the ditches cleaned out and cut is the lines from new fiber optics and stuff like that are not deep enough in the ground. So we've had issues hitting that on our side, just cleaning. And then now 1488 from Mag Ridge to 1774, that's been one of the biggest slowdowns is hitting utilities while they're trying to expand the road. That costs the city lots of money because TxDOT charges us when we have those mess ups because something's not properly marked. So that's another holdup that people might not be aware of why 1488 has had a slowdown.
So for someone who doesn't really follow city meetings that close, how would you explain the process of planning a road, sewer, water, drainage? How does that come into fruition? Is that a city manager's job that kind of brings those to the attention?
Well, we have a city administrator interim. I think me being in the community, driving the roads, seeing certain things. So when I got into office, I brought it up to attention. Luckily, we have Charles Stroud, which is our waterworks guy. He's kind of a little bit of everything guy right now, and he does a really excellent job. I'm hoping he's here for the very long haul. He's made vast improvements overnight, basically. And once I got in there with him, and he was like, wow. He goes, yeah, these are steps that we need to that you already identified. So we're trying to move quickly on as much as possible. But again, it's a process, and it's a little slow process.
I think that a lot of people, because we got Greater Magnolia. There's Magnolia proper that votes on city council and mayors. But I don't know that everybody fully understands. They see a problem, but can you kind of share a little bit? Because there's a lot that goes into the relationship with the city, the county, TxDOT, the developers that come in. There's a lot of moving pieces, and it can be residential developers or it can be commercial for strip center and office space. So can you talk a little bit about what all goes in on your side in our council. There's a lot you guys have to do with those inside of Magnolia city limits.
Yeah, so the short period of time that I'm here, it is a full-time job for a mayor. I can tell you with the communications that are coming through every department, I'm not sure how nobody's been in that seat full-time like I am right now. I can tell you, because there's a lot to keep up with, and we have so many different moving pieces, like you're saying. Just trying to get that communication line streamlined between everybody so everybody can be on the same page. And I think we're going to get there. We have really good staff at the moment. We still need a lot more staff because we are understaffed in that department. But so far, everything's been really good in communication.
What is the key staff position that you need to fill right away?
The city administrator position, we need a city engineer in-house. Right now, we have another interim in that department. And we need HR locally. Right now we have outside HR that can bring our costs down instead of going through companies like that. And then we have some positions we used to have that got changed without going through council. So it's kind of hard to put back in positions. So we're going to have to get that cleaned up and back through council so we can fill those in the proper manner. And then we need a lot more public works and maintenance. So there's quite a few holes we have, and we have a lot of staff that are doubled up in positions right now.
Can you just high level, 30,000 feet, discuss a little bit about with your role? There's a difference between the projects that affect you inside of city limits and the projects that down towards the new HEB where it's outside of the Magnolia proper that are going to affect you too, and going all the way down to New Magnolia.
Absolutely. Yeah, because they all tie into your water and your sewage. Most, it doesn't have to be in the city limits. We're still footing the bill for all of that. So it puts a strain on it. Most people don't see, well, it's just a city limit, but that city limit's feeding everything, all of Magnolia, until you get to certain areas where you might be on a well situation. That's not relying on city utilities, but all the development, HEB area and stuff like that that's here is on our systems, and it's an overload.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about just some of the new developments that you can share about and kind of where they kind of fall in the timeline.
Well, there's a lot on one of the developments that they've pretty much kind of got their idea, their plan. A lot of details still have to be worked out, and I don't foresee them getting anywhere until maybe the end of the year, beginning of the year, before they kind of get to their permitting and stuff of that nature. There is some details that still need to be worked out in some areas. And I think once that hits ground, it's a 2 to 3 year build out before. So we have a little bit of time to hopefully get our infrastructure a little up to date and more capacity before that does hit. But we do have other neighborhoods that are, now that our water moratorium has been lifted and they've already been waiting for those taps, they're tapping in at the same time as a big development like that. So that's another strain before we get other water wells up and running and waste plants.
What types of businesses do you see that Magnolia could use that maybe we don't have yet? Or do you think that the businesses' growth can add more of the same, or is there?
I think most of the growth that we see is going to be the same cookie cutter type businesses that you can go to Tomball, you can go over to Spring to those cities that are already big in development, Conroe. I think we have the hometown feel with a lot of the mom and pop places, and I see a lot of people saying we don't have that here. I don't know if they ever even come in this part of town for them to say that, because we have a lot of small business still here in the heart at the track area, and I believe that we have a lot of vacancies that we need to fill back in before we start tearing down more stuff to build new stuff. Is that going to work? Because we're not working now. But I don't foresee any real company I think that we just need to have here in that aspect. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's what we were looking for.
Kind of cut hits on what we need or what we have now. And I could be wrong. I personally don't see anything that we need to grab and have here.
I don't know that our citizens, a lot of them necessarily understand. We tend to do business in the side of Magnolia we're in. I'm on New Magnolia. So to me, Magnolia for years had become down to Home Depot. That was considered New Magnolia. And when we come this way, the chamber brought me more back into the part of town that I grew up with and we did business in. So Magnolia is covering a lot of businesses. It might not be in Magnolia proper.
Right.
And we love that old town feel.
Mm-hmm.
Going down Main Street, you see some of the old buildings.
Right.
Are still there that have been there since before I was a kid.
Before my time, too. Yes,
so
sir.
that keeps that really cool feel. And it's things you see business owners come in and rehab those buildings and stuff. I think it will just continue to grow with it. So
absolutely. And I think we need to revamp our UDC. There's a lot of stringent pieces in there. I would like to see something more implemented, kind of like Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful town, right? But when they have their building code it doesn't matter if it's a Walmart, a Whataburger, or anything, or any other shop. They got that same look, same feel to them, but they're modernized. Don't get me wrong, but it's still got the old country rustic look, but modern. And I think we're lacking that here when we are redoing a lot of these older buildings and stuff, because our code is just not on the same. It's just too many variances. So we can find something kind of standardized, but make it all look really good and keep that hometown feel in this area. That's really what I would focus on. And I was hoping that the Caron district there at HEB was like going to be it for a long time before they start wanting to build right here in town. So we can actually try to revamp this and keep that old spot right here, and let it kind of grow around us, but not come into where we're at.
And we do have a great opportunity with the businesses on the track to be kind of a tourist destination, like you said, Fredericksburg. So hopefully when the growth it's already getting here.
Yeah.
But as that, and those people can make the boutiques and the antiques and the kind of shopping experience that you find in some of the other small towns.
Right.
We're blessed because there's some small towns that they just, they don't have any kind of traffic.
Right.
So those poor mom and pop stores like that, they just fold.
Right.
There's no business. There will be business. Now we just need to kind of take the direction of how to make it the aesthetics of right the town.
Mm-hmm.
And Clint, not new and old Magnolia, east and west.
It's just Magnolia.
East and west
It's just Magnolia.
I was just going to wear my shirt.
I was stuck in that for so long.
I didn't want to do that.
Just east and west, isn't it?
I was young Clint when I moved here, and I'm old Clint now.
Yeah.
So.
I was going to wear my shirt, but it had a cuss word on it, so I did. So, and it's the one I had made, and it just says, it's just Magnolia, and it's got the Jackie Gleason, Yeah.
And that's good. With east and west, though, Dad was raised in Kansas, was here. He'd say, son, go up here, go east. I go, right or left. Now, when you talk east or west, I look at 45 and go, there's north and south.
Right.
Okay, west and east.
There you go.
Oh, my goodness. Let's talk a little bit about Unity Park, because we got some events coming up, and they're going to be pretty neat. So tell us a little bit about July 3rd and the tradition that Magnolia has with around the 4th of July.
Obviously, this year's July 3rd, not July 4th, which could be a positive. Because Friday night, you got fireworks with the city. Saturday, you get to stay home the whole time with your family and do your own fireworks. That's the positive I see in it. Hopefully, people can see that as well. But we're going to have the display. We're going to have some food trucks out there. I believe face painting and some, we call them balloon people.
Face painting balloon artists?
Balloon artists, I guess. Yeah, they make
good.
the animals and stuff. They're going to be there. I believe there's a couple of bounce houses.
Yeah.
And there's still opportunities for sponsorships and other vendors to still get involved. Right now, it looked like maybe 12 food trucks to be out there.
Yep.
So that's a pretty
Chambers
good amount.
Be out there.
And Chambers, correct.
Yep.
I think that's kind of the lowdown that I got so far.
Yeah, food-wise, I think that is it just the food trucks, or is there going to be anything, hot dogs or anything out of the concession stand for people to? I don't know. I heard something about that.
I didn't get details on that. I asked about it, but I wasn't given full detail on that. I just heard it was just going to be the food trucks and some coffee trucks and stuff of that nature. and ice cream, I believe, is going to be
that's
there
ice
as well.
cream.
Yeah, because I was asking and wondering myself, will we be providing any hot dogs or hamburgers or anything? And like I said, it's been kind of a mess.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to get some structure in there too.
Yeah.
But the girls have done an amazing job with what they've put together so far.
Well, I think it'll be a fun event, and I think you're right. I think the positive is when I saw July 3rd, I'm like, well, that's Friday night. That'll give us something to come home from work. It's 6 to 9:30, fireworks around 9:30. Gives us a Friday night event, and then Saturday we can take it easy and stay in the neighborhood with the family, or go to another fireworks show if you'd like. I'm sure there's another one around somewhere, but if we all do them on July 4th, then you got to pick. Now you can do both, so that's a good positive. And I know there's some vendors out there, so it's going to be neat. And there's some other events coming to Unity Park later. But what needs to be done at Unity Park to kind of keep hosting these events, or any improvements that you see in the future?
Other than the little small list of items that we got to attack in the park and everything, we got the splash pad back working, but we got the merry-go-round that we got to repair that, and a couple of the trail signs people have brought to our attention, that had like the nature on them and stuff, are starting to fade out, and some water fountains to fix. But as far as the grounds itself, the guys have really taken care of it. Their bushes are all trimmed, the weeds are pulled, and got a couple of flags to replace out there. But I think it's in good shape at the moment. I have to do anything for it.
So, what type of events do you have out at Unity Park, and is there anything that early on you see and think, I'd like to see, let's do something like that out there?
Besides the fireworks show, I believe we're going to have something in October for the Ren Fair. That was brought to my attention. I don't know if EDC or anybody's going to have anything on the stroll, but the city will have it at Unity Park, and we're trying to get the date set right now for that. We always have all the cook-offs and stuff there, and that's just one of the biggest things about Unity is it's pretty much the central hub to get everybody there as a community, whether you're on the east side or west side. So it is a blessing to have that part for our community and to continue to do events there. And hopefully we can figure out more events that we can do maybe every quarter or so. And it doesn't have to be extravagant, but just something that people come out to. I mean, last month we had the National Prayer night. I mean, that was a great turnout, and hopefully that's going to get bigger too.
Yeah, I'd love for that event to outgrow Unity Park and go back to the stadiums where it was. But I think Unity Park will be our spot for a couple of years until that happens. And we had great faith leaders from all over the community, our business leaders from the community, our officials, elected officials. It was just a great night. So.
And the other thing, I'm sorry, June 13th, the Magnolia Rotary Club will be having a car show at Unity Park.
That's right.
So there's car shows out there as well. Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Are there concerts out there?
Yes, sir. There's some concerts out there, which I like to go to concerts, so hopefully we can find some more to get stuck out there,
That's a good family evening.
Yes, it is.
Families to come out there.
Get the lawn chairs out, blankets, whatnot. Sit there and listen to live music. It's a good thing.
Well, as a chamber president, I love this part of the conversation to kind of get your mind around local business and such, a big part of the community. What is your thought on business, sporting business, small business, that kind of mentality? I've heard a little bit about it whenever you were campaigning.
I always have a small business oriented mind thought, and I like to keep seeing all the small businesses in town thrive. Whether it is the city or EDC can help some of the small businesses. I know the chambers, how you came in, you're starting to go out and make yourself known, which really is a good reflection, because some of the guys like myself for many years is paying your dues and you don't see nobody, no face. So then you feel like you're forgotten about. So when you're coming around, you're starting to see the small business. I think that makes them feel like they're part of the community still, not only here to try to provide for their families and whatnot. That just lifts their morale up, makes them want to be here, makes them want to succeed better. And if we can do anything with the city-wise to help these businesses and the new businesses that are going through some tough times of trying to get established, if we can help them out, lift them up, I think that'll keep growing our small business community.
Yeah, I'll tell a funny story because, Clint's on this as well as our member advocacy group, where in the first quarter we went out and visited all of our chamber members. And some of them, you said, you're right, they hadn't been visited by the chamber in some time. We host events, we host luncheons and breakfasts, and we invite everybody, but, not everybody can make those events.
Right.
But Sharon Gilmore was the one that went to you.
Yeah.
Which is just this awesome lady in our
Forgot
chamber.
my popcorn.
Yeah, and then something about popcorn, and she brought you back a bag of popcorn.
Yeah.
And I came over and visited the next day, and you're like, I've been visited by the chamber 3 times this week.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, something's changed. And
Right.
that's what we want. That's what we want. And Clint's a big part of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And here in the next couple of months, we're going to go out and visit people that aren't chamber members.
Good.
And invite them into the chamber to grow our networking group. So, what you're saying is...
I would have probably came into the mingles and the breakfasts a lot sooner. But again, when you're paying, right, and you're not seeing anybody coming around, it's just like, well, it's like they may already have their own clique, They don't really feel part of the group. And then when y'all came by and I started seeing it, and I'm like, wow, let me go check this out.
Yep.
And that's what I've been trying to tell the guys, that haven't been visited. So they're going to come around.
Yeah,
I was like, I said, you're going to be able to go in there. Not everything that provided there with other companies are going to be what you need, but it's still a way of networking.
Yep.
I said, and there might be somebody there that actually could benefit your company in helping or something, in that network.
Well, the chamber is designed to be the connecting for everybody, right?
So faith,
and there's so many entities, right?
Family, and fun.
Faith, family, and fun.
And we believe in that.
There's so many different entities, where there's a CPA to a shop like mine. It's just a broad spectrum. So it's definitely a good way to network.
Now, if I could just get you to work on, regular gas, classic engines. It would be all right.
I'll pull them out and put the diesel in.
I think Raymond made a comment with him. How about us other gearheads? You work on our cars too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you probably know more than I do about that. That's good. Well,
what do you think is drawing the businesses to our community? We're getting entrepreneurs, we're getting small businesses, even some of the franchises.
Yeah.
Growing up out here, there was not a Whataburger.
No, sir.
There was other towns that you had to go to get to the fast food.
Right.
And now, I think
I love that part.
I do too.
Because I'm here all week. I want to drive away an hour or two, enjoy food outside of town somewhere else, taking somebody else's view for a bit, and then come home.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't see people wanting to do that. And I don't think they have the patience or the mindset to relax, and then enjoy a drive. I enjoyed a long drive. It clears your mind, kind of a refresh, reset type deal. So as far as business coming here, I would say I know why the big boys are coming here, because we've been given so many incentives to come here. And those incentives have kind of backfired on our infrastructure. And that's going to stop. They'll get incentives, but not what they've been doing. I'm going to make sure of that.
they'll still come.
Yeah, they're still going to come, but they need to really help Magnolia, be here, not
with all the
not
developments
polished.
that we have.
So,
They're going to come.
oh, absolutely.
Now I think we've reached a point where they can't not come because the population explosion means there's dollars for those businesses.
Oh, absolutely. And we just left so many dollars on the table through the years that's really hurt our infrastructure. These businesses say they're going to come in and get you, jobs immediately, blah, blah, blah. But when you give tax abatements for many, many years, that revenue is supposed to be right in here to our impact, fees and stuff, and it's not there to sustain or help our growth in our infrastructure. So those are the kind of things that I'd like to see.
You know, one thing you touched on was liking the drive to go to somewhere else. There are other places in Montgomery County, but what I like is I watch the development on Main, that this can become that town too, and is becoming that town. That maybe as a resident here, you need to go drive with your family to clear your head, but this can become the community that somebody else from another resident wants to drive up here. So you may drive to Montgomery, but people from Montgomery might want to drive here. So that's what I like is there's kind of a blend of growing our community and creating parts of town for people to want to go as a destination.
And that's a good point. Not this World Series that my niece just played in with Texas Tech and UT. She played last year as well for Texas Tech and was in the World Series. I was up at Land Sharks there at Walden, and I met a gentleman. He was there. His name's Charles, and he lives in the Woodlands, and I believe it was New York area, with a small north side country area. And we got to talking during the game, and he, I told him I was from Magnolia. He's like, I love Magnolia. I was like, you just said you live in the Woodlands. He goes, can't stand the Woodlands. I go to Magnolia, I eat at Kitty's, I eat at all y'all's little restaurants. He goes, to get away from there. And I'm like, so people do come here to get away from wherever they're at the same time as I get away. So, yeah, it goes hand in hand.
I think that's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
We've had a lot of conversation, and I know not just the city is preparing for this growth, but with the fire department, they got their approval for them to get some new fire stations and upgrades. The city, the Magnolia ISD was able to get their bond passed, so they got a third high school coming.
I was a big advocate for both of those.
That's right. I know you were.
Yes.
So, some of this is reacted, but, we're all watching this happen. You're in a unique role, and we're blessed to have you, and we appreciate everything that you've been able to share with us. Is there anything that you would leave people that we haven't discussed up to this point?
I would just say, please be patient. We have a lot to work on, fix, but it is going to be a slow process. Just be patient, be kind to your neighbors. We're going to get Magnolia back on track in a more responsible way and growth. And I think it'll benefit everyone, not just us old people and the new, but somewhere where everybody has a common ground that still feel like a home to everyone. So,
well, Mayor, I appreciate you coming on. I think this is good for our community whenever we can get you on and other elected officials just to kind of share with what's going on with your office. If we can take some ambiguity out of it, then hopefully we can reduce some of the citizens' knee-jerk reaction that frustrates them, and I know we all have them. I sure have them with certain things, and have to stop and think there's a whole lot that they've got to do, and in the process they've got to work through it.
Yeah, and hopefully they're watching now or listening. If they have issues throughout the city, instead of attacking the city on social media or anything, just reach out to my office. Come directly to me through Facebook, through the city website, whatever. Those are the issues that we want to fix out in our community that maybe our guys didn't, see it. And the more we know that's broken, the more we can try to fix it. It's just not going to be overnight. Yeah. So again, be patient.
We appreciate your relationship with the chamber, and hopefully that relationship with the city continues to be strong.
Absolutely.
As we move forward and work on everything that's coming our way. This is the Southwest Montgomery County Business Brief. We appreciate everybody joining us. Brought to us by Ace Handyman Services.